English 4 students, if you are confused about how to do the 4 practice sentences, I'm going to give you a little brief overview. We didn't have time to do it in our very first class, so we're going to do it in here right now. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. I have 4 of the lines on here just like you do in the workbook. Now whenever you go from the workbook to the quiz, it's going to be a little bit different, okay? It's not going to be, you're filling in blank lines. It's going to be I turn what goes on these lines into questions. So as long as you can do it in the workbook, you'll be able to answer the questions just fine. Some students like to do the workbook and then they go to the quiz. Okay, so let's hit the ground running. The parts of speech, you go through every single word and you label the part of speech. Now, these first couple of weeks, you're not going to have, your whatever you get wrong does not count against you. You get participation grades. But in a couple, let's see, probably about 8-9 weeks, we're going to start having these grades are going to count. So until we learn the different parts of speech and the phrases and all of that, it doesn't count against you. But do the best that you can. Okay, so I would just start with the very beginning. Start with his. That's going to be an adjective. That's a little dark. Let me change my color here to something. How about yellow? That would show up really well. Okay, so his is an adjective. Superfluous is also an adjective, so I would put adjective there. There we go. And then comments would be a noun. Let me make this a little bit bigger too. N for noun. Come on now. N for noun. There we go. Okay, so I'm abbreviating all of the parts of speech as you can see. Were is a verb. Nothing, a pronoun. But is a conjunction. A is an adjective. Transparent is an adjective. All of that's describing or modifying, excuse me. Subterfuge. Subterfuge means a disguise. Okay, so I went through that pretty quickly because I'm really, really on top of things with labeling the parts of speech, but you guys may have to slow down a little bit and look and see how the words react to one another. Something that I forgot to do, that I forget to do quite a bit, is you're supposed to read the sentence, of course, out loud before you jump right on in here and start doing this. So whose superfluous comments were nothing but a transparent subterfuge. That'll help actually on our parts of the sentence more than it will on the first line. So parts of the sentence. You have subjects, you have verbs, you have direct objects, indirect objects, and subject complements that can be a possibility for the parts of the sentence. So we'll learn all about that, of course, the difference between using a direct object as opposed to a subject complement and those kinds of things in class, but that's where this goes. So let's find our subject. His superfluous comments were nothing but a transparent subterfuge. The comments is the subject of the sentence. Okay, were is the verb, and this is where you tell whether it's an action verb or a linking verb. Were is going to be a linking verb. Okay, and then here, because we have a linking verb, we're going to have a subject complement. So actually the subject complement would be nothing, and then it's because we have a conjunction and the comments are being linked to both nothing and subterfuge, then both of those are going to be the subject complement. So that is line 2, parts of the sentence. Line 3 is phrases. Sometimes we don't have any phrases in a sentence. This is where we would put things like a prepositional phrase or a gerund phrase, participial phrase, infinitive phrase, or appositive phrases. Those are the 5 different phrases that we could possibly have. In this sentence, we happen to have none. So I would say no phrases. Ta-da! Then on the bottom line, this is where we look at the sentence as a whole. We're looking to see, do we have a simple sentence with just one independent clause? Do I have a compound sentence with 2 independent clauses? Do I have a dependent clause in there somewhere? We'll learn all about that in class, but here in this sentence, as most of our sentences are in the 4Practice workbook, it is just one simple sentence. And so here, Sorry, the fourth line should be down there, but it kind of ran over itself. I would show my work and say that this is just one independent clause, and show you that that spans the length of the entire sentence. Okay, just one independent clause. And then down below that, I would get a little bit more specific and say that this is just a simple, and this is where we also say what kind of sentence it is. Is it declarative? Is it interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory? This, like most of our other sentences, are just declarative. It's just a simple declarative sentence. There we go. And so that's what it should look like whenever you get completely finished with the 4Practice sentence. So just to review really quickly, the first line, we're labeling every single word, the parts of speech. The second line, it's going to be a little bit more empty because we're only labeling the main parts of the sentence. The phrases, if we have phrases, we would have pointed them out, but we don't have any in this sentence, so that is completely fine for nothing to go on line 3. And then in line 4, clauses, we are looking at the sentence as a whole. As always, if you ever have trouble, if you're ever really confused about something, let me know. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys.